Hey, you know what's crazy about this Young Thug fiasco? None of this information that we've been receiving should have came out. None of it. Let me explain. So let's go take a walk and let's talk about it. It's really important to understand. So, under the court case of State v. Brantley in the state of Georgia, the court opined that there is no reasonable expectation as to incarcerated people's jail phone calls with third parties or anybody other than an attorney. Therefore, an incarcerated person's Fourth Amendment rights would not be violated against if the government or the feds were to tap in and listen to your conversations with somebody else while you're locked up. If you were speaking with your lawyer, though, like if you were locked up and speaking with your lawyer, there may be some attorney-client privilege that's into play, but that's even limited in the scope under Georgia law. So yeah, you're probably thinking, yes, these jail phone calls are traps. The feds use them to gather evidence that's admissible under court. They might press new charges based on these jail phone conversations, things of that nature. But here's where things get tricky, and Young Thug, frankly, his team at least, should be pissed off about this. So peep how I said jail phone calls can be used as evidence in court. You have to emphasize the word court because that's very significant here. So under the Georgia Open Records Act, jail phone calls are actually not considered public record. Therefore, access to these jail calls should not be available to the general public, let alone the media. So you see how that's going to be a problem? You see where I'm going with this? We're going to have to use our thinking caps here. You know what this means, right? Fulton County is definitely playing dirty here. They have access to these jail phone calls. They know that you can't really disclose it to the public or the media because it's not a public record. However, they're going to use a justification with State v. Brantley and the other codes to say, hey, there's no reasonable expectation of privacy. So, whoops, look at this information going out. But if Young Thug had a defense team, I would argue the illegality of what's going on. His chatty talk shouldn't even be out there. It's not public record. The media just should not have access to it. So we understand now that it's most likely Fulton County that's disclosing these jail phone calls to the media and leaking them to set a message to Young Thug because they couldn't lock him up for so long and they got him on probation, but they're not going to make his stays that easy. So just pay attention to what's going on and transpiring with these phone calls. I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to the details of the phone calls. I mean, that's juicy stuff, but the bigger story here is yet to be discovered and something to pay attention to. If they find out in some way or reason that Fulton County's DA's office leaked these jail phone calls, we got a big story here because that is illegal and that's the government playing dirty. We know they're playing dirty, but that's a big story that could be unfolding in the near future. Just something to pay attention to. And no, I do not practice in the state of Georgia, but I am an attorney in the state of New York. So I do know some things. I do legal research. I'll let your boy. You already know. Peace out.